So we're going to do a process here. I'm going to take you into a process of, well, there's different ways I could say it. I'm taking you into my process. The result of the process, if you can follow along, is that there'll be a movement away from the concrete activity of your mind into the creative potential of your mind, and there'll be an ability to access new thoughts, that new neural pathways and new thoughts. Alright, so just sharing this as a sample of the way it works. The starting point is always relaxation. So let's explore that. So can I feel my head as if it's being bathed in warmth? And if I'm looking around, it's because I'm connecting in with the environment, but I'm not connecting so much into objects or forms. I'm connecting into the space surrounding me. So there's space, but then there's an object there, there's a post next to me, but I'm becoming more sensitive to the subtle current of formless particles. So I'm becoming sensitive to that within the brain, because if I can become sensitive to it up here, it can actually remind me of, or take me into the core of the brain, because the core of the brain is a soft, warm place. So I'm becoming sensitive, feeling the energies envelop the head. We can call this the etheric body. I don't even care what we call it. We could call it space, the quality of space. And space isn't just the expansiveness, it's also permeated with an energy. So you can close your eyes if it helps you to connect into this. So I'm becoming aware of that. Bring that down so the mic is clear. Becoming aware of that around the head. Okay, so all of a sudden I start to notice that there's a difference between thinking from that warmth, that relaxation. There's an opening. I can feel it expanding through the brain. There's a difference between that and what was predominantly operating before. So I'm changing frequencies in the brain. So what we're doing is we're looking to think. We're looking to train ourselves, train awareness to think from that energy rather than think from the familiar structures that are very limited, because that energy is not limited, it's unlimited. So I'm going into that. Now, I think something that I've found really helpful with this is when that energy becomes available to you, when you start to notice it, to strengthen it, you can bring that energy to what you might call problems in your life. So, often problems are the result of perceptions that are, bring that back up, got to look good. Problems are the result of perceptions that are very hardwired. And perceptions have an undercurrent of obviously emotion, but sometimes physical pain. So as we go up here and we bathe in the energies of, we could say, quantum potential, it becomes very apparent that the energies of the quantum potential are very different to the energies of the self that we have known. Okay, so the self, in terms of like the familiar, your subconscious, that has a lot of problems and difficulties, and that's the case because it's limited in its perceptual ability. It's maybe not even the best way of saying it. It's limited in its ability to see. Because if I can think or see or speak or move from my unlimited quantum potential, essentially everything can be rearranged, because the nature of that quantum energy is that it's the everythingness. So there's nothing that can't be transfigured and kind of rearranged and seen in a way that would help the body to let go. So it's like the application of the immense creative force into our difficulties. So what I want you to do right now is, can you feel that, what I'm referring to there? Okay, you can feel the warmth. So becoming aware of it. Maybe your head is bathing in that. Yeah? There's kind of like a gentle current to it. You know, you could kind of move around and you can feel the gentle breeze of that warmth enveloping the head, right? So that's there. It's kind of like you're encapsulated. You're encapsulated by this immense benevolent warmth. Okay? So that's what we're becoming aware of. So awareness is becoming aware of that. Awareness is going to that, not going into the concrete, which is, all you've known, basically. So warmth, identify warmth, locate benevolence. To do that, attune to the environment, attune to the formless. When I look out there with my eyes, am I seeing just a gap between this body and that form, which is a fence, or is there something streaming in there? So getting sensitive. Okay. Now, finding a usual self problem, and you might notice that if you're quite bathed within this energy, if it's quite strong, you won't have anything there that you can find, because you're seeing there through a completely different set of eyes. Yeah, but you might also notice that as you come to belong into that energy more, into that frequency of quantum potential more, the challenges of the self naturally emerge as mini blips or mini contractions within that vast expanse of warm radiance. Warm radiance. I mean, even as I speak those words, I can feel the permeation of that come in. Yeah. So as I see this, I'm seeing there's a switching, almost like the brain is like a little mini rudder. It's going between, self brain into quantum brain. Can sort of feel those mini shifts. So also just moving the hands. I mean, this is a very tantric it's a practice, I think, called Tandava, but it's becoming very aware of, when I move the hands, can you sense the formlessness in everything and the formless radiance of all things? Okay, so keep sensing in. Also, it does help to keep the belly relaxed. The belly is, if you've got a contracted gut, this is going to be hard. This has to be opened. My gut had to open for this to happen. So, okay, so sometimes what I do too, there's the mini, feel the movements, feel these movements. But what we're doing is trying to connect into your creative potential as your being, as awareness is probably more accurate. And we do that through going out of concrete mind. To get out of concrete mind, we have to become aware of what is permeating everything. Yeah. So moving the body subtly, little movements are good. Feeling the head bathed in that warmth. Maybe even feeling some hands on the head, some some caring hands, some benevolent, supportive hands, telling you that it's okay, that all is okay, yeah. And something that I also do is I bring myself into a place of what's next, wonderment. So what's around that corner? What's around that corner? You know, I can see a corner there, but maybe behind that corner is magic. So to even speak that is not, doesn't always grab it. So I'm probably not transmitting it as well as I could, but to feel that, to feel around the corner, something magical, your wildest imaginations, the fulfillment of everything around that corner, the fulfillment of everything that you have ever desired and ever wanted, your innermost enjoyment as a human around that corner. And it says, yes, here you are. So sensing out. And so, okay, how do we register whether we're in this or not? The floating, it's a floating breeze of, it's a constancy, it's like you're in this ebb, this constant flow through the brain, rather than the flow coming and going on these different pockets of identification. It opens up. And even if it comes in and there's a momentary pocket of identification, the warmth, the creative potential of that warmth rearranges that obstruction, rearranges that contraction, and unfolds a new way. So maybe you enter into a block within within that stream of being, and the energy of that stream comes and embraces that block, and it touches that block, and it says, but I'm here. So it's kind of like we see that a block, essentially an obstruction within the river of being, that will be coming from one voice. But if you open up to what I'm referring to, this energy that I'm referring to, which is the complete wonderment and the streaming of what you are, then infinite voices become available, because you are truly creating. You know, you see, I mean, I'm just moving my hands because it helps me to do this. You might notice that too, but you see that you get locked into perceptual structures that are not helping. So, and it's not just perceptual, that it goes deep, but it's still the same thing. Sensing into the quantum potential, sensing into the quantum potential. Can we bring 1,000 eyes into a situation where there was only one? Can we let go of the identification with one set of eyes? Can we be unlimited? Can all eyes be seen through this body, through this brain structure? Yeah. So even just practicing this for 13 minutes, there's already a tangible transformation happening. So there's like 3 things you can do. One is to feel the head bathed in that warmth, that formless warmth. It means you're going to have to sensitize the head and sensitize the gut, particularly. Also sensitize the heart. The second is looking at any challenges that arise and seeing if the warmth that you engage with, the warmth that arises, seeing if that can be applied in such a way to resolve those. The third is what's around the corner. Bring the wonder back in. This was how it was as a child. So what we're doing is notice any moment in the brain where it goes tsk, because that right there, that subtlety to that, is you locking into concrete mind rather than remaining completely open as what you are. Concrete mind locks the potential of the mind, the capacity of the mind into one viewing point, when in reality it's everything. And you know that when you go into a deep state of sleep and you access the gamma frequency, because you open up as the infinite potential, and that starts to create effects within the body. The gamma frequency is not limited, is not defined by the familiar structure of your own subconscious. Yeah, it's beyond that, it's deeper than that. So opening up, see any moment the mind tenses, any moment, and relax it and open up to what is beyond, open up to the potential. And then you might have something that arises, which is that I can't do that, because what is that movement of contraction within the brain, that's real, and that's what you're going to be telling yourself, that's real. But can it really be real if it feels so difficult? Do you really want to believe in something that causes you pain? And what if you could believe in or belong to something that is way more beautiful? And so that's the shift, is that when you start to know what I'm speaking about, that is what will happen. That's like the last straw that you're going to have to overcome, which is that that's not real. It's like a doubt, and that's what we hear with Buddha. One of the last things he had to deal with was doubt. You see, and doubt is pervasive. It's like the last step, one of the last steps probably. So, but you just need to see that, would you rather belong to what you're discovering? Does it feel more true? Does it feel more true than the suffering of this blocking within the river of being, within the unlimited potential that can see any situation from the infinite capacity of what it is? And this takes work, but it's possible, it's doable. This has just been a 17-minute video, and I'm sure this has given us some pointers as to what to do. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.